Welcome back, my dear friends. And in my previous video we have discussed that uh, the introduction of engineering mechanics and the classification of engineering mechanics into statics and dynamics classification into kinetics and kinematics, where statics deals with the bodies which are at rest and dynamics deals with the bodies which are in motion. In dynamics, we are having two more subdivisions. One is kinetics and one is kinematics, where in kinematics we only look into the motion of the object, leaving the forces which caused the motion. In kinetics, we will also consider the forces along with the motion of the object. So in this video we are going to focus on our first unit. Let us go through the syllabus. And here in our first unit, I think we are done with the introduction to engineering mechanics and basic concepts. And we all know we are moving with topic to topic separately. So that for today's video, in this video we'll be focusing on system of forces and coplanar concurrent forces. In this video we will understand how many kinds of forces are there, what kind of characteristics that a force is having, and these things we are going to learn. So without any delay, let's get started. So here in this video we are going to focus more on force system. So we have to understand how many classifications does this force system is classified into. It is classified into two types. Force system broadly classified into two. One is coplanar force system, coplanar, and another one is non-coplanar. Before understanding the classification of the force system, first of all let us understand what is force and what is plane, what is coplanar and what is non-coplanar sequentially. So let us understand what is a force. Let us take an example. Suppose there is a ball placed on a surface. So in order to move the ball from this place to here, what has to be done? An external quantity has to be added on the body so that the body starts moving from here and the body reaches here. So how is this phenomena happening? On the ball, a separate agent, an external agent is being acted on the body, and the name of that external agent, it is nothing but force. Since the force is acted on the body starts moving from here to here. I think you understand this. So the force is initially found out by Isaac Newton in 16th century. So and he started measuring the force by keeping the units of force by denoting the units by his name. For suppose a force is acted on this body, and the intensity of the force is 5, that is nothing but the magnitude is 5, and he measures the force with 5 newtons. So he placed his name at the place of units in order to measure the force. So let us understand the characteristics that force is having. So every quantity in physics is having different characteristics. So in the same way, force is also having a different characteristics. So let us understand each and everything. Force initially have magnitude, second one direction, and third one, that is line of action. So we will go through each and every characteristic individually and understand them more better. So let us take an example and we will understand it in a more clear way. A force is acted on a particular body in this direction. So I started extending this force from here to here. I have extended this force, and this is nothing but a horizontal plane. So let us introduce this horizontal plane with some x. So since it is horizontal, we can indicate this axis with x. X is nothing but the horizontal axis. So the magnitude of this force can be indicated. The magnitude of the force indicates how intensive the force is. What is the intensity of the force? అంటే ఆ ఫోర్స్ యొక్క తీవ్రతని మనకి చెప్పేది ఏంటండి, ఆ మ్యాగ్నిట్యూడ్ అనమాట. లెటెస్ట్ టేక్ ఎన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్. ఇక్కడ 10 న్యూటన్స్ అనే ఫోర్స్ ఏదైతే ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఇక్కడ ప్లేస్ చేసామో దానిపైన యాక్ట్ అవుతుంది. సో దానిపైన యాక్ట్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు 10 న్యూటన్స్ అనే ఫోర్స్ యాక్ట్ అయింది కదా. సో హియర్ న్యూటన్స్ అనేది ఆ ఫోర్స్ యొక్క యూనిట్ అండి. అండ్ ఈ 10 ఏదైతే ఉందో దిస్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ మ్యాగ్నిట్యూడ్. మనకి ఫోర్స్ అనేది ఒక వెక్టర్. సో వెక్టర్ రిప్రజెంటేషన్లో మనం 10 అనే యూనిట్ని మనం ఏదైతే లెంత్ ఉందో ఈ లెంత్లో మనం మ్యాగ్నిట్యూడ్తో రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తాం. అండ్ నౌ వీ కెన్ గో టు డైరెక్షన్. డైరెక్షన్ అంటే ఇట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ మనం కంప్లీట్గా ఇక్కడ డీల్ చేసేదంతా కూడా 2 డైమెన్షనల్. సో ఫోర్స్ని మనం డైరెక్షన్, దానికి ఫోర్స్ యొక్క డైరెక్షన్ చెప్పాలి అంటే హియర్ చూడండి, ఇక్కడ మనకి దిస్ ఈస్ ద హారిజంటల్ యాక్సిస్ అండ్ దిస్ ఫోర్స్ విచ్ ఈస్ యాక్టెడ్ ఆన్ ఎ పర్టికులర్ బాడీ ఈజ్ మేకింగ్ సమ్ యాంగిల్, లెట్ ఇట్ బి థీటా. ఆ థీటా అనేది నీకు ఒక 24°C అని ఇక్కడ అనుకుందాం. సో దట్ 24° will become the direction of the force. Here magnitude of the force is nothing but 10 and the direction of the force is nothing but 24 degrees. And this is all about magnitude and direction. So let us understand what is line of action. See, so here we have taken a force of 10 newtons which is having a direction of 24 degrees. So line of action అంటే ఏంటంటే, if we extend this line, ఇలా ఈ లైన్ మనం ఎక్స్టెండ్ చేసామంటే స్ట్రైట్గా, సో ఈ లైన్ ఏమవుతుందంటే సో ద లైన్ ఇన్ విచ్ ద ఫోర్స్ ఈజ్ బీయింగ్ యాక్టెడ్, ద ఇమాజినరీ లైన్ విచ్ ఈస్ డ్రాన్ along the force direction, it is nothing but లైన్ ఆఫ్ యాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ఫోర్స్. ఇదంతా కూడా ఒక ఇమాజినరీ లైన్. సో ఇమాజినరీ లైన్లో ఫోర్స్ అనేది మనకి లై అయి ఉంది. సో ఏదైతే లైన్లో ఆ ఫోర్స్ అనేది ఆ ఫోర్స్ డైరెక్షన్లో ఉందో, సో ఆ లైన్ ఏమంటామంటే మనం లైన్ ఆఫ్ యాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ఫోర్స్ అంటాం. లైన్ ఆఫ్ యాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ఫోర్స్. ఓకే, ఐ హోప్ యూ ఆల్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ద క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ ద force, that those are nothing but magnitude, direction, and third one is line of action of force. So let us understand what is plane. So we all are familiar with some topics like we all know that there are 3 axes in the space: x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So if I plane, it is nothing but it is a 2-dimensional area. It is a 2-dimensional lamina. So if I start drawing a 2-dimensional lamina here with the help of x-axis and y-axis, all the area which is being shaded now, this all area will become a plane. This is known as xy plane. This is nothing but xy plane. So this 2-dimensional area which I have drawn here, it is nothing but a plane which is having the dimensions. One is in x direction, one is in y direction. Only 2 dimensions are there. This 2-dimensional area, it is nothing but one plane. So we can also draw 2 more planes here. So with the help of x-axis and z-axis we can draw another plane. With the help of y-axis and z-axis we can draw another plane. And it is not needed that the area must be here to here. The area must be as same as that I have drawn in the video, but it can be anything. It can be this much, it can be this much, it can be this much, it can be this, it can be this, and it can be anything. So but it is a 2-dimensional area. Clear? So let us understand classification of force system. So force system and force system can be broadly classified into 2: coplanar and non-coplanar and non-coplanar. So in this coplanar we will be having another 4 classifications. So in coplanar we will be having collinear, collinear, concurrent, collinear, concurrent, and parallel forces, and another one is non concurrent forces. Non concurrent forces. Don't feel bad if the writing is not clear. Since it is being written in the mobile phone, it will be a bit difficult to write more clearly. So the first one is C it is. So collinear, concurrent, parallel, and non-concurrent. So in the same way, we will be having the same force system in non-coplanar forces also. Here we will be having parallel force system and non-concurrent non-concurrent force system. That's it. So let us understand what is coplanar and what is non-coplanar. Thereafter we can move to each and everything. It is better to write all these four separately in a notebook, and you can understand the more better way. So let us understand what is coplanar. We all know that what is a plane. If two or number of forces lie in a single plane, so all the forces are known as coplanar forces. So let us take an example. So this is x, this is y, this is z, and this will be a plane of xy plane. This is xy plane. Similarly, we can also draw xz plane, we can also draw yz plane. But if the forces lie in a single plane, this is one force. Let us take this is one force, this is one force, and this is one force. So the forces which I have drawn here, all the forces are lying in a single plane. So all these forces can be called as coplanar forces. If the forces does not lie in a single plane and they are going beyond the plane means, and those forces are nothing but non-coplanar forces. So let us go with all the four classifications which are there in coplanar forces. In coplanar forces, we are having firstly collinear forces. Collinear forces. What is collinear forces? And since it is the classification of coplanar forces, the forces which are collinear must be called as coplanar and collinear forces. So when it becomes coplanar, if the forces lie in a single plane, it becomes coplanar, and it have to be in a collinear way. So when it becomes collinear, if the line of action of force, for example, let us take a line here. So this is the force, and the line of action of force can be this way, right? And let us take another force in this direction. The line of action of this direction will be in a different way. So here there are two different kinds of line of action of forces for two different forces. But if the line of action of forces lies in a same single line, if two or number of forces are having their line of action of forces in a single line, then such kind of forces are nothing but collinear forces. And we all know the game tug of war, where it can be played on the beach, sea banks and all, seashores. So where people will be holding a rope from either sides, they will be pulling to either sides. So they will be handing the rope and they will be pulling the ropes to opposite to each other. So what the people at this region will do, they will pull the rope this way, and what the people at right side will do, they will pull the rope to their side. So what happens is, in a single rope, two forces are being acted which are opposite to each other. This force can be 5 newtons and this force can be 10 newtons, and their magnitudes can differ, but their line of action is lying in a same line. So this force system, it is nothing but collinear force system. And second one, concurrent force system. Second one, concurrent force system. So what is concurrent force system? So let us take a plane again. So if the forces lying at a single point, for example, a force is acting this way, a force is acting this direction, a force is acting this direction, a force is being acted this direction. So if all the forces here are moving away from a single point here at the center, so all the forces are acting here, some forces are acting away from the point, and some forces are acting towards the center. So though the directions are different, all the forces here, all the four forces are acting at a single point. So if the forces start at a single point, so those forces are nothing but concurrent force system. I think you all understand. Let us go with the example. You will understand it in a more better way. Let us take an example of a traffic lamp being hinged to a pole at the top. So this is the traffic light. So what happens is, here you can see this is one string. Here you can see this is one string, and this is one string, and this is another string. All the three strings are tied at a single point. This one. So what happens is, this force, or what we call this string may offer a different force to pull the lamp upwards, and this string may offer a different force. So two different forces are here, and one more force is the weight of the traffic lamp, which is acting vertically downwards. సో ఏంటంటే ఇక్కడ త్రీ స్ట్రింగ్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా, త్రీ స్ట్రింగ్స్ కూడా డిఫరెంట్ ఫోర్సెస్ యాక్ట్ చేస్తున్నాయి. ఆ మూడు కూడా ఒకే పాయింట్ దగ్గర యాక్ట్ అవుతున్నాయి. ఒకటి ఇటు ఉంటే, ఒకటి అటు ఉంది, ఒకటి కింద. సో త్రీ డిఫరెంట్ ఫోర్సెస్ ఆర్ యాక్టింగ్ ఎట్ ఎ సింగిల్ పాయింట్. సో అట్లా యాక్ట్ అయితే, సో ఆ ఫోర్స్ సిస్టమ్ని మనం ఏమని పిలుస్తామంటే, ఇట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ కాన్కరెంట్ ఫోర్స్ సిస్టమ్ అండ్ ప్యారలల్ ఫోర్స్ సిస్టమ్. ప్యారలల్ ఫోర్స్ సిస్టమ్ అంటే ఇట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్, if one force is there and another force is there which is completely parallel to the previous force. సో ఈ ఫోర్స్ అనేది ఈ కిందన ఏదైతే ఫోర్స్ ఉందో ఆ ఫోర్స్కి ప్యారలల్గా ఉంటే కనుక, ద లైన్ ఆఫ్ యాక్షన్స్, ఇఫ్ ద లైన్ ఆఫ్ యాక్షన్స్ ఈజ్ ప్యారలల్ టు వన్ అనదర్, దెన్ దోస్ టూ ఫోర్సెస్ క్యాన్ బి ప్యారలల్ ఫోర్సెస్ ఇర్రెస్పెక్టివ్ ఆఫ్ ద డైరెక్షన్. సో డైరెక్షన్ అనేది మనకి ఇక్కడ ఈ ఫోర్స్ డైరెక్షన్ ఇటువైపు ఉంది, సో పైన ఫోర్స్, కింద ఫోర్స్ డైరెక్షన్ అటు ఉంది, సో ఆపోజిట్లో ఉంది. ఆపోజిట్లో ఉన్నప్పటికీ వాటి యొక్క లైన్ ఆఫ్ యాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ఫోర్స్ అనేది, ఏదైతే లైన్ ఆఫ్ యాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ఫోర్స్ అనేది ఒకదానికొకటి ప్యారలల్గా ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి, సో దోస్ టూ ఫోర్సెస్ కెన్ బి కాల్డ్ యాజ్ ప్యారలల్ ఫోర్సెస్. అండ్ వాట్ ఈస్ నెక్స్ట్, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాన్ కాన్కరెంట్ ఫోర్సెస్. సో నాన్ కాన్కరెంట్ ఫోర్సెస్ అంటే ఏం లేదండి. సో ఇఫ్ ద ఫోర్సెస్ ఆర్ ర్యాండమ్ అండ్ నాట్ జాయినింగ్ ఎట్ ఎ సింగిల్ పాయింట్ ఆర్ నాట్ స్టార్టింగ్ ఎట్ ఎ సింగిల్ పాయింట్, సో దోస్ ఫోర్సెస్ ఆర్ నథింగ్ బట్ non-concurrent forces. If they lie in a single plane, then those forces are called coplanar because all the forces are lying in a single plane and all the forces are in different directions and not starting from a single point. So those are called coplanar and non-concurrent. They are in a single plane but not starting from a point, so it is coplanar but non-concurrent. This is all about coplanar forces. If the forces are going beyond the plane, means those are not lying in a single plane, so those forces are nothing but non-coplanar forces. I hope this video has helped you in understanding coplanar forces and non-coplanar forces and what is the force system. And we will be continued to the another video in which we will be explaining all the things about coplanar forces. We are done with coplanar concurrent forces. So here components in space, it is, of course we have discussed it earlier, the x-axis, y-axis and z-axis and the planes which are there in the space. So we all have discussed, and we will move with the resultant moment of force and its application, couples and resultant of the force system, and we will be preparing another video on all these topics. Stay tuned. Thank you so much and bye.